Meanwhile, top diplomats from around the world are now gathered in the Philippines for the ASEAN Regional Forum. That's an annual gathering that aims to promote peace in the Asia-Pacific region. Now, the foreign ministers will have a lot to talk about in their string of bilateral and multilateral meetings there, especially after North Korea's latest ICBM launch. Our Connie Kim now joins us from Manila. Connie, I hear the highlight of the ARF, the foreign ministers meeting, is going on now. What have you heard so far?
Right, Devin. The retreat session of the foreign ministers meeting of the ARF kicked off about 45 minutes ago, which is later than expected, with the previous foreign ministers meeting of the East Asian Summit taking longer. Now, regional security is expected to top the talks, with North Korea's foreign minister Yong-ho in attendance. Words we are hearing from the North Korean delegation's spokesperson is that they're preparing a press conference possibly after the plenary session of the foreign ministers meeting of the ARF that's expected to end at around 6:30 p.m. local time. But possibly getting a hint on what Yong-ho could say, North Korea's state-run Korean Central News Agency posted a statement condemning the newly adopted UN Security Council Resolution 2371 that bans all exports of North Korean coal. Now, the statement claims the resolution is a direct challenge to the regime, and it's ready to use its ultimate means if Washington continues its pressure strategy against the regime.
Well, now, Connie, there's a lot of meetings going on there on the sidelines, and this morning South Korea, the U.S., and Japan held one amongst themselves. How did that go?
Well, Devin, the foreign ministers of Seoul, Washington, and Tokyo have used the ASEAN Regional Forum to boost trilateral cooperation against North Korea's continued provocations. I hear it started off on a friendly note, and during the 45-minute working luncheon, the three top officials saw eye to eye on reaching a complete, verifiable, and irreversible denuclearization of North Korea. South Korea's Foreign Minister Kang Kyung-hwa responding to reporters' questions on how the ministers discussed pressuring China and Russia in implementing the newly adopted UN Security Council resolution, said it's not a matter of pressuring the nations, but that nations itself must implement the resolutions if they are a member of the UN Security Council. Now, Japanese Foreign Minister Taro Kono, speaking to Japanese reporters, have reportedly said Tokyo wants to strengthen trilateral cooperation as there is possibility of North Korea forging another ballistic missile around the annual Seoul-Washington military growth in mid-August. And on a related note, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, speaking separately to U.S. reporters ahead of the trilateral talks, emphasized Pyongyang must halt its missile test firings if North Korea wants dialogue with the U.S., and that Washington will be monitoring the implementation of the newly adopted UN Security Council resolution. Devin?
Right. Well, a lot of the press's attention is going to, of course, North Korea's Foreign Minister Lee Yong-ho. A rare appearance for him, of course, as the ARF is the only multilateral forum Pyongyang takes part in. We've been getting reports that the top diplomats of the two Koreas crossed paths on the sidelines of the forum, as some expected they might. How did that turn out?
Right, that was the news South Korean media have been keeping a close eye as Seoul had been reaching out to the North for dialogue under the new Moon administration. We hear South Korea's Foreign Minister Kang Kyung-hwa and her North Korean counterpart Lee Yong-ho had a brief 3-minute encounter as they exchanged handshakes in a waiting room ahead of a gala dinner marking the 50th Association of Southeast Asian Nations Regional Security Forum. The gala dinner was close to the press, but what I hear from a ministry official is that Kang called on Pyongyang to respond to Seoul's proposal to hold military and family reunion talks as a follow-up to President Moon Jae-in's peace initiative laid out in Berlin. And just a quick reminder, North Korea has never replied to the proposals, remaining tight-lipped as the offered date for dialogue passed. Lee has reportedly pointed out Seoul's proposals lacked sincerity as South Korea, in cooperation with the U.S., is pressuring North Korea. So we are guessing that Yong-ho's surprise press conference could be something along this line, but we will bring you any of the updates that come out from Manila. Over to you, Devin.